The Nation newspaper is asking a question I want us to look at in their cover page. This is the question, and I want my camera to pan well so that I can see it. Why 15 billion graft taxes hot air? I saw this tight headline and I really laughed because I knew that this was now an agenda that we're going to have, but I can promise you guys that the tax question you're going to have it's a discussion you're going to have for better part of William Ruto's tenure. And thanks enough that he has introduced it. They stood accused 7.3 billion. This is what is written there. Rigathi Gachagua and many others. 2.2 billion Meru Wambui, Purity Njoki and Pama Holdings, and the list continues. Director of Public Prosecutions Nordin Haji is a man on the spot. He has presided over the withdrawal of several cases touching on top business people and government officials who face multi-billion shilling corruption and tax evasion charges. The suspects cried witch hunt by the former regime. Was this the case, or have Kenyans lost the money? I'm not advertising, but I've read that article. Check on page 5 and 6 of The Nation and take your time and read that article. There is a disturbing data from KRA that out of 759,000 companies, only 84,000 paid taxes in 2022. What does that show you? That the discussion about tax is not supposed to be simplistic and just taking a very narrowed approach on family X or family Y. Because it's a problem, it's a virus we have in this country. That's why my position has been that for you to upscale that collection, you need something called tax patriotism. Watu walipe because it's it. I'm seeing the slogan of kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. The minds behind it, I personally have a bit of reservation because kujitegemea means you are simply telling the population that ukilipa ushuru utajitegemea. That means things are going to be light on your end, but that is not the real issue. There is a big gap between the tax collected and the services delivered. Let's listen to Danstan Omari. Danstan Omari is telling UDA that they raised the volcano and the debate between Uhuru regime and Ruto regime, successes between the two, is premature, but because of politics, they have brought it too early, and the comeback of Uhuru Kenyatta in the scene is going to be disastrous to William Ruto's way. He was speaking in NTV today, Tuesday, Wednesday, today first, in the morning. Let's listen to Danstan Omari here.
I think that Kenya Kwanza is sleeping on the volcano they have raised, and the volcano is going to eat and hit them very hard without knowing where they are coming. When you deal with a former president, we have had one died in office, Jomo Kenyatta. We had President Moi leave office. Kibaki said, mimi sitachokoza Rais Moi. Kibaki retired. Uhuru said, I will not interfere with the life of Kibaki. But we have now a new regime that wants either to drag Uhuru Kenyatta to court, as lawyers will make money to defend Uhuru Kenyatta in court. But what will be the impact? The president, the retired president, has a lot of force globally. We are looking at two serious international figures. Raila Odinga combined with Uhuru Kenyatta, they now have the instruments of power. They have not delivered anything tangible other than the appointments and the gazettement of the Inspector General as an accounting officer. In terms of tangible development, zero. So they have gone on the political agenda because they have failed to deliver their manifesto that they gave to Kenyans, that within 100 days, the cost of living is going to come down. Electricity bills are going to come down. Employment is going to be there. The Hustler Fund is going to be a proper fund that business people can utilize to do their business. By accepting that failure, they now started the political war. One, Zainab when I was here, and it was very unfortunate when I heard the President of the Republic of Kenya say there was a plot to kill Chebukati that was endorsed by the highest office. The highest office appeared yesterday at Magoa's function. Two, the talk now pulled out Raila Odinga from the goods. Remember, the rallies that have started were rallies in response to what Kenya Kwanza was trying to tell the public. And the rallies are becoming so potent. Two, the Kenya Kwanza brigade now goes further and start raising issues. Some senators whose you cannot place their name anywhere in the Republic's figure went into the jugular to fish President Uhuru. And President Uhuru now is coming back. And the approach I've seen that is developing is that the Azimio team led by Uhuru is now telling Kenyans, compare what we did and compare what the Deputy President Gachagua is saying. There was no work done for 10 years. Compare the cost of bread under me and compare the cost of bread under President Ruto. This is going to be the narrative, and Magoa has given fodder and ground for this political discussion now to erase. What is going to happen on 11 during the funeral of Magoa? Is the president and his team, are they going to go to that funeral?
And that is what I was talking about. That something is not going on right. And Danstan Omari said, you know, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta took a backseat after William Ruto was sworn in Kasarani, knowing very well that there can only be one president at a time, and only coming out when necessary. Honestly speaking, yesterday visit in Magoha's funeral, Uhuru Kenyatta came out and spoke for the first time. For the last 6 months, there have been a well-coordinated smear campaign against Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure aimed at demonizing his achievements and portraying Uda rule as a messiah moment for this country. That is why it has gone. In fact, it was that smear campaign overstretched. They overstretched it to the extent of saying, you know, there are a lot of activism and the smear campaign on extrajudicial killing to show us that, you know, we are in some kind of a moment. I know it is politically, government is right, and in any competition, you want to outshine your predecessor because you want to show that you have something to offer. And to some extent, it was done, and it was strategy to woo the masses, because I think William Ruto's hustler slogan was lacking. The potency has been lost. No longer. The hustler discussion is no longer tenable. So the KK team are, according to me, working on some borrowed time. I want to tell you from Danstan Omari's statement why the volcano that William Ruto, that is erupting against William Ruto, because they raised it themselves, and in the fullness of time, the reality is catching up. And I want to tell you why it is actually going to swallow them. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. I want to say thank you for those who are supporting us from different parts of the world. There is a continued political contestation that Kenya Kwanza is getting involved in. The political contestation is because everything that President Ruto is doing, every policy is, whether it is from the boardroom, when it is communicated to the public, it is packaged on on competition, on comparison between me and Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is the target that UDA is pitching for re-election. I can tell you, be it appointments in the parastatals, we know that there is the next phase of ambassadors and everything. Everything that is being done is being done for political expediency, so that I get re-election. On that ground, the first term is squandered. I can tell you. Now, this is the tragedy Kenya Kwanza is in. While Kenyans are listening to Raila Odinga's messages as political messages, William Ruto is feeling like Raila is running away with the masses. But the same masses, when William Ruto speaks, they want President Ruto to address issues like the cost of living and other things, but not political messages. And check the social media spaces and various media outlets and even panelist interviews. You listen to people telling the president that don't respond to Raila, tell us about the cost of living. You won the election, you have everything, tell us the cost of living. Now, the dilemma Ruto is in is, as much as he doesn't want to respond to Raila, but the masses are also listening to Raila, and in the fullness of time, you never know. The pendulum can change, and 2027 contest can reshape. That's why those 2 points are coming together. The other third thing is this. Policy directions that are being made at the table by KK team, or we agreed there's nothing like KK, by UDA team, is no longer as aligning with the hustler agenda. Hence, the notion, the hustler was a notion, it was not an agenda. The hustler notion is no longer sustainable, and it is lacking the potency in public. That's why it's going to consume, because I don't think in 2022 we are still going to have a discussion about someone is a hustler and someone is not a hustler. Because there is an open lie. We are going to form government with you, the hustler. That's not it. There is no hustler in the table. To say the truth. Not all of them are there, but it is the same faces that have been recycled. So the public will have to make a judgment that, even though we were told we were going to form government together, but it's only the dualists, the Ndidinyoros, and the big boys that are on the table. So those are my approach. That is my take on why that volcano Danstan Omari is talking about is going to consume them. In the fullness of time, they will have to put down everything and go back to the campaign trail. In fact, they will start campaigning very early. Now that they have started, there is clear signs that they have started. That's my take, guys.